All right. Hello, hello, and good morning, Ediana. How are you today?
Good morning. How you doing? I'm doing well.
Amazing to hear. Well, Ediana, I'm excited to chat with you this morning in reference to your professional experience. I do have your resume pulled up here, but I would love for you to kickstart this interview and tell me a little bit about your professional experience.
Sure. So I started straight out of high school into the medical and customer service industry. So I do have a strong background in customer service, claims, chat, email, spreadsheets, Excel, you name it, I've done it. And I've done it for a long time.
Amazing.
Um, So I've been doing that. My last position was actually claims and customer service as well. So I did a lot of calling, answering calls, research for customers, and sending a lot of emails and chats in that role as well.
Amazing. So it sounds like, looking at your resume, you mentioned straight out of high school, you started your career, right, in customer service, which I see your first role was over at Vangean as a medical customer service rep. You were there for 3 years, which is, a good tenure for your first professional role. So,
Right.
yeah, absolutely. So I can see overall 15 years in customer service, heavy on the actual customer service side of things. Um, I know right now you're currently working in a seasonal role. Tell me a little bit about that.
So with the seasonal role, still has some customer service. I am basically your package deliverer for the holidays.
Yeah.
So I do have a lot of customer interaction, handing off packages, just greeting,
Mhm.
making sure they get their delivery or sign for it if needed. It's a pretty independent role. So that's pretty much what I'm doing, seasonally at the moment.
Amazing. And I know I questioned to see if you were needing a 2 week notice. How soon can you start? So if you don't mind touching base on that as well.
Yes, so the position is seasonal, but it's also at on call as needed. So they are aware. A lot of candidates will be stepping away to find more permanent positions and things like that. It's pretty much just helping for the holidays. So I do not require a 2 week notice when leaving.
Beautiful. And thank you for resharing that with me. I want to touch base on your customer service role prior to the current role that you're in over at Receivable Solutions. You were a insurance senior specialist. Were there for about 2 years. Tell me a little bit about what that role looked like on a day to day.
A day-to-day, very independent role, pretty much clocking in, taking a look at my cases. We had a productivity expectation of about 50 accounts per day at that specific role. So basically, I would use an Excel spreadsheet to look at what accounts I had, organize my work for the day, what I thought would be more efficient to make sure I get everything done. And then I would work through the accounts. Some accounts didn't require phones, some did, where I would have to call patients, help them figure out, why they owed money on their bill, if it was truly their responsibility, if I needed to reach out to the insurance company. So basically, the goal was to go ahead and get every account paid or get the insurance company to pay for it.
Amazing. And how many calls were you conducting on a daily basis? Outgoing calls versus incoming calls?
It truly depends on the account, but it's pretty high volume because sometimes on one account you may have to make 4 or 5 calls or, call them so that they can call you back. So not only are you managing making the outcoming, you have to be able to also receive the incoming as well, to make sure because like I said, the goal is to go ahead and close out the account or to satisfy that need for the account to be paid. So I wouldn't be able to really put a number on it, but it was very high volume both ways.
Amazing, amazing. Well, that sounds perfect for me because it seems as though you were able to withstand the high pressure environment, right? Not only conducting those outbound calls, but also having to tackle those inbound calls on a timely basis. So that's amazing in itself. Prior to that, you're working at WellCare for a few years, about 5 years or so, and then you're working as a client billing for Quest Diagnostics.
Correct.
Yesterday, I asked you, over the phone, we kind of touched base as far as your experience with billing. If you don't mind, tell me a little bit about that.
So as I was telling you yesterday, I have ran my own business which I just closed in January, for about 7 years. I was an esthetician, so I did use QuickBooks to handle my accounting and keep track
Mhm.
of my expenses as well as my spending, and for my quarterly taxes and things like that. So I have a lot of experience with billing in that. And then as well as the Quest role, we would do the billing for the patients, as far as like their co-pays and things like that. So reaching out to them, making sure their account is current, or setting up payment plans depending on, what that customer needed at that time.
Beautiful. So you have a few years of experience using QuickBooks, doing the billing for, customers, clients, patients, etc. So
Correct.
amazing in itself. I want to touch base on additional software systems that you've used. Again, you mentioned QuickBooks, but if you don't mind, tell me a few systems that you've used and are comfortable with using.
So yes, QuickBooks. I'm very proficient in Microsoft Suite, Excel, Outlook, Teams, Google, pretty much all the systems that you would need in a successful role. And I'm very self-sufficient and I'm a quick learner as well. So technical, yeah, technical
Yeah.
systems are not hard for me to pick up on usually.
Incredible. Thank you for sharing that. I want to make sure, I know you said all, Microsoft systems, but Excel. How would you rate your skills with Excel?
I would say like a 4.8 out of 5. Only
Oh,
because they're
okay.
always changing different things in there. But I've been
Absolutely.
using it since pretty much out of high school as well. So I'm pretty well versed.
Amazing, amazing. And I ask because a lot of clients do prefer that we have, candidates who have that proficiency with Excel. So definitely a plus here. Now, as far as really my last question, I know we touched base on, starting wise, you're able to start really, I would say right away.
Right.
But what do you think, or what skill do you have that really allows you to stand out compared to other talent?
I have tenacity and I'm a very hard worker. I'm very goal driven, kind of competitive, if you will. So I compete, not only with myself and others, I like to go above and beyond to not only reach my productivity goal, but to see how high I can get with it, because the ultimate goal is always to excel in a company or move forward. As you've seen in my resume, I do stay with companies for a long time. So to do that, you do have to excel in what you do and really take pride in your work.
That was well said. And thank you so much for sharing that with
Exactly.
me, Ediana. I want to go ahead and just thank you again for the time that you spent with me this morning. I do want to go ahead and stop the recording here, but if you don't mind, stay on the line with me really quickly. I want to chat with you.
Sure.
Thank